flip it. Yeah. So, what could we do about Ohio? Hmm? Well, here's a good statistic to kind of put this into perspective. In World War One, it was known as the Alchemical War, right? The chemists' war, because they were tossing so many gases across the battlefield. And in World War One, the Americans were getting absolutely decimated by these gases, and then I think the Allied troops, or whatever they were called in World War One, had tried to use gases themselves, and the Americans, or whoever the soldiers were, I think the British, they sent a gas plume out at the Germans, and then the gas came back, the wind shifted, and sent that gas back onto the Allied forces, or I think it was like the Axis and the Allies. I forget. It's been so long, just so many wars, right? And so now we're seeing this repeat event here in Ohio. Was it the physogene or phogene gas? I mean, that's vinyl chloride. There's not chloride gas, and then they burned it. So to get a perspective, the Germans launched 170 metric tons of chlorine gases across the battlefield. This spill was about 550 metric tons of this vinyl chloride stuff just seeping into all the areas, and it's a synthetic compound, right? This doesn't exist in nature. So this is an incredible ecological disaster, and it's just, I had not found out about it until a little bit after it happened. Actually, I believe I found out about it like on the 11th or the 12th. What's going on, Chi X? Hey, interesting happenings going on. So with this gas being released, and then they burned it, right? 129,000 gallons of this was released into the atmosphere. It's blanketing the East Coast. This stuff is deadly. What happens? Well, here's what could happen. So the people in those areas, they should be wearing masks right now. Like, they should be on the news saying, hey guys, like, we got to put our masks back on. That should be priority number one. Priority number two is you're gonna all have to use the Polonia tree in excess. That place should dig a trench as deep as they fucking can, and bury that shit with biochar. Make a huge swale, man. This has got to be like 100 feet wide by like fucking 60 feet deep. There's a low battery, but when I plugged it in, it said I had 14%. So I don't know. But anyways, where the frig was I? I don't know. Phones are phones. I have not bought a phone, I think, in 4 years. Just get hand-me-downs. Try to find a phone once in a while. Anyways, so what was I talking about? So Ohio, yeah. So the gas is released in World War One. The Germans had released 170 metric tons of the chloride gases. So this did turn into gas because they ignited it and they created a new reaction. You add heat like that, it separates the components and actually get new elements. So when this thing ignited, they just polluted the fuck out of the whole East Coast. I mean, that shit's in the wind. I have not even looked at the wind maps. I haven't looked at the hydrology maps. I haven't looked at the contour lines. I don't see what water lines is affecting. I haven't even looked at what streams. Like, this is all shit I'm sure the EPA is probably doing. Don't really know. It's not transparent. They're not like, yo guys, we are doing all we can. This is the proper response. I'm gonna give it to y'all like right now. This is a proper response to something like this. Holy shit, this is a national security. This is gonna affect all the waterways. 129,000 gallons of vinyl chloride just spilled on our precious land, right? Everything should stop. This should be prime repair to show, listen, we care about the land that we have been entrusted with, that the whole United States, well, we have voted, people trust us, they respect us, we need to do a good job. We need to do a good job for our people, right? The ones that you're subjecting to your code, correct? So this is the proper way to deal with an emergency. Everything comes together. Like Chernobyl, think about that. When they had the radiation warriors or whatever, they literally amassed a lot of resources to stop whatever the hell happened to that place. This is another Chernobyl. This is something that should not be taken lightly. This is really devastating. When these chemicals enter your waterways, they're so heavy because this is not a natural compound. Nature has no clue what the fuck is going on right now in that area. It's so like spinning in a free fall because this chemical is leaching into every pore everywhere. It's in the water. It just rained, I believe, a few days ago over there. Now it's supposed to get heavy duty ice coming through. So all these phosogene, whatever it's called, that was released after the combustion, now that's sending a plume of toxins. It's one of the most toxic gases that we know of. It was banned by the Geneva Codes of War. This gas was used, a chlorine gas, not a similar, but they did use physogene or fesogene, whatever the frig it's called, fogen. I'm gonna keep saying it wrong because it's just on my, I'll look it up. Okay, phosogen, or cyogen, cyogen. Anyways, I didn't make this stuff, and that's why I can't pronounce it, because it's so foreign to me to see this being done to a population. So, what are the solutions? Well, I have a idea where you guys in that area, if you are from that town and you can be represented properly and you can administer ideas on how to solve an environmental crisis such as this, I would say anyone in East Palestine, you need to start getting all of the excavators you can fucking find, right? And you got to start digging 100-foot wide trench and go about, I say, like 100 feet if you could, if that's even possible, right? Because that's how deep they should go. Get to the aquifer base where you're getting all your water. Like, it's such a mess. And you're gonna have to make biochar, and you're gonna have to pour these trenches, huge trenches, boom, throw that biochar right the fuck in there, and seal that up, and throw dirt on there, and then plant paulownia trees all around the perimeter, just like a wall of paulownia trees. Those roots go deep. They'll tap in, they'll suck in all of that runoff. But hey, it's too late. Like, you guys should be making biochar wattles. You should literally, like, I saw the video of some dude in a creek, and he just moved a stick across the creek, and this juice, this like chemical soup, just is like just coming up off these rocks. So how are you gonna solve that? You think, what is the purpose of this whole thing? Because how does an accident of this magnitude occur? Why is this something we're now dealing with? And it's in Ohio, and it's right in the smack of like the water. The hydrology is going to drain all the way down, even maybe go into the Mississippi. And that's frightening. That's frightening. People are swimming in that stuff. There's animals drinking from these creeks. I mean, that's just the water itself is having that taint. And then like, oh, it'll dissipate. It'll come in waves and turn off your faucets, and the air is safe to breathe. We hear this so much. Remember the 9/11 thing? And then a few years to 2016, the EPA woman says, "Oh gosh, like I have this heavy weight on my heart for saying this," and people tried suing her, and the courts then they said she's not liable for releasing information given to her by these scientists. So I guess the scientists are the ones that we should be directing this concern towards, because they're the ones that had given the scientific advice. Where's the recourse? Where is the accountability? God damn it! Cleaning up, you're not going to clean that up. This thing is going to cause incredible disasters for ages. This really screwed up a lot of shit. There's a lot. So Ohio, right? It spans out to like Illinois. There's a lot of crops growing there, a lot of wheat, a lot of all kinds of food for the East Coast, right? And that's where a lot of our grains are grown. I drove through there many times. There's a lot of potatoes, a lot of farming. So now this land is tainted, and they don't give a shit. It's crazy. Like Biden, proper response. Once again, this is what I'm going to get into: is a proper response. Proper response is assembling all your resources all at once to handle something of this magnitude. 129,000 gallons of toxins just got dumped into your glorified state in your country, and it's going to affect more than one state. This is a tri-state, maybe a quad-state issue, even to where it's going to enter the Mississippi River. So knowing that, what is being done right now? Why aren't all these states being like, hey, this is dire. This is a really bad situation. This is like the worst thing that could have happened right now. I can't think of anything worse than dropping 3 times the value of toxins, more so than World War I. 3 times, or probably 2.7 times the amount of chloride gases released in World War I, and this stuff is on the Geneva Convention. Oh no, don't worry. We will make plastics. We need this stuff to make plastic, so you guys can keep enjoying your plastic life. Like plastic, we need vinyl chloride. We need these things to make plastic. Why? Why? Why on earth does this exist? Why are we trucking something so dangerous, so fast, on a rail road? What's like that even why, what's up with that? Who thought that was a good idea? Oh well, we do it all the time and it's really safe and nothing ever happens. I'm sure there's so many instances. I'm sure we can look it up. I'm sure we can find. And the EPA's response is to what? Figure out something in next week, 2 weeks from now. I'd be on that shit. Biochar, filter that with carbon, get it out, go get it to a plant, render it, try to extract it somehow, but get it out of the system, get it out of the ground, and put it into something you guys can travel around, like even igniting that, because they're afraid of an explosion. I feel there's so many different solutions that could be, we should have already known about, because we should have had certain things already on this existence to where it was utilized, such as biochar, something so simple, carbon, so simple, so very simple. It's nothing of trivial thought. Just use biochar. You could have soaked all those toxins up. I don't know how carbon would react with vinyl chloride. I am not someone who would ever fuck around with something like that. Ever. What kind of world was built for us? And I think my phone's going right now. Yeah. You guys shut up. So All right, I think the phone cooled down. So, and after this spill, you guys need to plant polony trees. If people had polony trees, it could have had, maybe been more safe. Anything hazard that should have polony trees around it. That's probably going forward. I really suggest the EPA looks into utilizing trees and C4 photogenic species to capture a lot of these airborne particulates and to line highways with them and to use biochar, and then you can coppice them and use them for your public purpose and create really good mulches and nitrogen rich soils with lots of native species bacterias that are floating around. It's really not that difficult. It's so easy. It's so easy. It's so easy. It doesn't have to be so complicated. Just like this whole biomass thing I'm dealing with in California, it's so easy to fix this problem. It's not even a problem. That's why I don't. It's just mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling, everybody. It's mind-boggling. Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Yo, burn it. What? Yeah, it's 126. That's a lot of chloride. Are you sure? Are you sure you want to do that? Yeah, fucking burn it. All right, we're burning it. Woo! We're heroes. What the fuck? Like, I guess you're doing everyone a favor. What the fuck is that? Well, that's all I gotta say. Use biochar. Fucking grow some polony trees. Grow some hemp around that place. I just it's so need deep tap roots. You need something with deep roots that can just go boom, like just. And there's no other way to do that than like carbon. If you bury carbon, actually the root mass will see that. They'll scan. They scan below them. These exudates. They're just like they're like where can we go? They see that little piece of fucking carbon down there. They're gonna go for it. So you can extend your tap roots, and then maybe you guys can clean this up. If you guys want to hire me to maybe do the project lead on this, I'd be more than willing to assist. You can give me a call. I have a website, kofrass.com. I'm always available. If you guys have some questions about how to solve some of these issues, if you guys want to give the locals my number, you guys can fly me out, and I will definitely assist with this cleanup. I would love to, be associated with cleaning the environment instead of polluting it with 129,000 gallons of toxins. Hey, I think we could do a little bit better, and you guys want to do better. I'm, sitting here. I'm working on the nonprofit right now. If you guys want to give me some help with that, I'm not really a lawyer. I'm not into sentence structure. I'm more into the delivery of the words instead of fumbling around a keyboard and whatnot. I like to be in person mostly, not really a good internet bro. I just come on here because I have an old ass channel from 2006 that I've kept. One of the older YouTube channels from the OG to when it was all about this. It wasn't about this, what do you call it, this current, the modern current of YouTube. It wasn't about that. It was more about sharing what you think and what you think you know. That's what it was all about. It wasn't about impressing the crowd. It was more about what do you got inside you? What do you want to share? What are you passionate about? That's what OG YouTube was about. And it was nothing to do like it was today. So you want to know an OG YouTuber? You're looking at one of the first originals. Made that shit in 2006, right? So yeah, this channel ain't never going away. It's never gonna get shut down because I'm always gonna be here uploading things whenever you guys want to hear anything. If you have any suggestions, go ahead and suggest them. Maybe I'll look into it. But for right now, Ohio. That's the thing, that Dole dude lives in Ohio. I think he lives like 30 minutes, 40, maybe an hour away from there. And, you'd think he'd be saying, hey, Ohioans, we got to do something about this. And all you do is not talk about it. And, you know, I don't know if that's strength because you're not reacting to something, but when I know of people who live out there and I know they're being affected, I kind of have a little concern and a little bit of a heart to address these kinds of things. So I would highly recommend that if you showed that you do care about like where you live and you're all about, I come from the waters here. Well, dude, they just dumped like fucking 129,000 gallons of this shit into your rivers that you came out of. So I would highly suggest that maybe you can do something about it, because I didn't come out from there. I was in El Paso, so yeah, and no one gives a shit about El Paso, so cool, except for me. Y'all take care. I hope you guys can clean up the mess in Ohio. If you can't figure it out, you can call me and I'll give you guys some ideas. So, you know my information. You can find me. You know where to find me. Take care.